Could you tell us about the note you wrote?
I just wrote it because everything had got on top of me. It's when I'd not long found out that I'd been removed from the unit, and they were telling me that my practice might be wrong, that I needed to redo all my competencies. My practice might not have been good enough. So I felt like people were blaming my practice, that I've hurt them without knowing, and that made me feel guilty.
It says there, quote, not good enough, you've written and underlined.
Because I felt like I was good enough, but people were trying to suggest that I hadn't been good enough for them.
What do you think was going on with your competencies up to that point? Were you okay?
Yes.
Did you feel confident?
Yes.
Right. Why, at that stage, did it culminate in those feelings?
Because I suddenly felt that things had been directed towards me.
Why was that?
Because they were saying that they were going to have to review my competencies, so I took it to mean my practice hadn't been good enough.
Did you ever recognize that it wasn't? Did you ever make any mistakes?
No.
In your own mind, had you done anything wrong at all?
No, not intentionally. But I was worried that they would find that my practice hadn't been good enough.
What made you think that they might find something that was wrong, or something that you shouldn't have done?
Was more that I was worried that obviously they'd already gone to the lengths of redeploying me and moving me from the unit and banning contact. I didn't know how it was going to go. I didn't think that they'd find that I'd been incompetent, but I was worried that they might try and assume that I had been, just because I was there for all these babies.
Okay, I don't deserve to live. I killed them on purpose because I'm not good enough to care for them. I'm a horrible, evil person.
I didn't kill them on purpose. I felt if my practice hadn't been right, then I'd killed them, and that was why I wasn't good enough.
So, in what way do you think your practice might have been the reason why these babies had died?
I don't know. I thought maybe I'd missed something. Maybe I hadn't acted quickly enough.
And you felt evil?
Other people would perceive me as evil, yes, if I'd missed something.
I'm a horrible, evil person. That's your take on you?
I think it's how the situation made me feel.
Do you believe there's a potential that you caused their deaths?
Not intentionally.
Okay, so do you believe that you were carrying out practices that weren't competent?
No.
Okay, so where's this pressure that's led to having these feelings come from?
I think it's just the panic of being redeployed and everything that's happened.
Okay.
It makes more sense now, but at the time I did think that they might think I was incompetent, that I might have unintentionally caused something.
Okay, the only other thing is that in terms of, I think within that note you were questioning maybe what does the future hold? What were your thoughts around that?
I think I just didn't know what was going to happen. It just all overwhelmed me at the time. It was hard to see how anything was ever going to be okay again.
And in capital letters, I am evil. I did this.
Because that's how it had all made me feel at the time.
That you'd done something wrong?
Yeah, not intentionally, but I felt if I'd done something, if my practice wasn't good enough, or people didn't think I'd done something in the right way, then it made me an evil person because I couldn't do the job properly.
I'm an awful person, and I pay every day for that right now.
Because I felt like I was having to pay for something that I didn't do. Being away from my job and my friends, and having to go to a new area where I didn't know anyone.
So, this is all how others are making you feel, and how you are feeling yourself.
Yes.
You then put down, I did this. Why me?
Again, I was made to feel I had done it through not being competent.
Did what?
Well, did something that had led to these babies collapsing, dying.
Did you ever consider that it might have nothing to do with you or your incompetency?
Not that moment in time, I just...
Okay. What about now?
No, I don't feel it is my competencies.
So what changed between these kind of thoughts and now, that you're confident that your competencies weren't lacking enough to cause any serious collapse or death?
Time. And I've redone my competencies and had that grievance procedure, and nothing was sort of raised through that. or any of the other investigations that have taken place to sort of suggest that I'd been incompetent in something. Sorry, that I hadn't been competent in something.
No hope, despair, panic, fear, lost. Is that how you felt? You had no hope.
It just made me feel like no hope for anything, yeah.
If you knew that you'd done nothing wrong,
Well, at that point, I was made to feel that maybe I had. So I was worried that maybe I had in terms of my practice and my competencies.
who made you think that?
The trust.
Has anyone ever said that you have done something wrong?
I found out via the grievance procedure and the Royal College of Nursing that some of the consultants had made comments.
I did this. Why me? What does that refer to?
That I just caused the disappointment.
What's the why me?
I felt, well, why was it happening to me? Because at the time they were saying that I was a common feature, but so were other staff.
Okay.
But then it was only myself that was redeployed, so obviously. But why me? Why is it just me that it's happening to?
What was the I did this?
The upset and everything that I caused those people, I felt that it was me, not intentionally, but through that situation, through the redeployment.
You talk about the babies being specifically sick. What was the difference from another year?
I think we were seeing more babies who had complex needs. We were having babies with chest drains that we don't get very often, babies with stomas that we don't care for a great deal. We had quite a few that were quite extreme prem babies with congenital abnormalities, a lot of twins, and then we had the triplets.
In terms of emotional outlets for coping, your coping mechanisms, what would you use?
Usually just talking things through with the team or with my friends.
Is this an emotional outlet? Doing things like this?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll take a break there, and I think the time is 24 minutes to 9. The interview is concluded.